Welcome back to this edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host Malik, and let's just jump straight into it. We're in day three of free agency. I said day three, right? Maybe day four, day three. It's all over the place right now. But the news that we got starting out today, it's not actually free agency news, but it's more so trade rumors. So this comes from Sean Wright on Twitter. He's a NBA analyst. He says that the Bucks have registered trade interest in Grizzlies guard Scottie Pippen Jr. as recently as this evening. This tweet coming yesterday. Um, he says Memphis is set to cover the 24-year-old coming off a career season with the team. Yeah, he pretty much said it for all of us right there that I don't think I don't think the Grizzlies actually entertain this unless it's for number 34 on that side. I mean, we're looking at a Bucks team that is looking to make a lot of moves early. Recently we just, like I said, they waived Damian Lillard to sign Miles Turner. Um, a move that caught a lot of people off guard. But it also goes to show that the Bucks are really looking to make these moves to kind of keep Giannis around. Although Giannis was not pleased by the move of them releasing Dame. So, um, yeah, I don't think the Grizzlies necessarily entertain this. I think it's just too much to bank on. Like I said, unless there's a considerable talk about getting Giannis in return, involving Scotty, and then obviously more assets. Down to see a world where the Grizzlies entertain this. Really, I mean, that's just me being honest. I don't think that really happens. Um, Reports are reports, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's just interest. There's no set deal done, and like I said, I don't think the Grizzlies even entertain this. I mean, you're looking at Scotty, who had a great second half of the season as a defender, 3-point shooter, and playmaker overall. Um, Honestly, it was times where you looked at the starting lineup and Scottie Pippen played well into his role. Like it was times where Scottie looked like a starting point guard, and that's something that a lot of people looked for in a Tyus Jones, because Tyus was essentially in Scottie's role, and it looks like Scottie is playing that role to a T. Um, the only thing with it, just gotta hope he stays consistent with it, because that was a problem with Tyus, just the consistency later down the line. Because Tyus had his struggles in the playoffs at times, but I mean, Scotty's on a good path right now, and I like that the team is giving belief in him because I believe in him. A lot of people in Grizzlies, people in the Grizzlies fandom believe in him. Although there was some skepticism about him, I always had belief in him, especially from the summer league. I'm like, this guy has the great potential to be a Memphis Grizzly for a long time. Definitely a hidden gem by Kleiman and company. So, yeah, think they would absolutely love to keep him unless they get a price that they just absolutely cannot turn down. But on the other side of things, the Grizzlies are actually they've actually been linked potentially to a trade with Walker Kessler. Now, if you don't know, Walker Kessler essentially um, the Jazz have basically made it known that they want a young guy and two first round picks in return for Walker Kessler. And I got to be honest with the news of DeAndre Ayton going to the Lakers, and then obviously Jaren being hurt, Edie being hurt, one would have to think that the Grizzlies start going after other centers in the league. And Walker Kessler is a good start. I've always been a fan of Walker Kessler. Um, when we went into the draft for Kessler, and we had originally drafted him but traded the pick, um, I kind of knew in hindsight. I thought in hindsight that the Grizzlies made a mistake because I was big on Walker Kessler. We needed a rim protector and someone that could control the paint. Um, so the opportunity to try to get that back, I think the Grizzlies should go for it. Honestly, I don't watch enough Utah Jazz basketball, so I don't know really what his weaknesses are. But I do know his strengths, and it'll be perfect for the team. Um, from what I'm seeing, a lot of people they would love the idea of signing or trading for Walker Kessler. I think he's not the only target either. I mean, you're looking at potentially Nick Richards. Jared Allen is still available. There's a possibility of Brook Lopez, although I don't think the Grizzlies need a Brook Lopez. If unless you have something else working under the table, I'd say go for Brook Lopez. So the center market is out there. It's just a matter of how much are how much are the Grizzlies willing to go all in to get that center and one that's decent at his position. Because you're not asking for much. You're asking for a center, a big guy that can do the intangibles. You're not asking for somebody that's been, a top five player in the league. Like, you just want somebody that can play their role to a T. And I feel like the Grizzlies, they have the opportunity right now to do that. So hopefully they take advantage of it. And I can make this video saying, hey, the Grizzlies traded for a center. I say go for it. So there's no telling with that. And then you have the possibility of, I think the Grizzlies make a good case for it because currently right now they're still trying to sort something out where they send Cole Anthony to another team. So possibly Cole Anthony is in those talks as well. It's just a matter of if that's enough for the Jazz. So definitely something that we'll be following, and hopefully we get the update that we want. But the other news was switch gears to Summer League. The Grizzlies have brought in some names, but one that really stuck out to me is Lawson Lovering from Utah. He 7'1". He averaged 8.4 points, 4.9 rebounds, 2.7 assists in his last season. It says right here, one of only 3 high major 7-footers with a 20+ assist percentage this season. Honestly, I have some questions, but I'm not totally mad at it. I would have to say that for one, I think that he would be good to try to sign on a 2-way deal. He kind of reminds me of a Jay Huff kind of player. He brings a lot to the game. Obviously, he has more of that playmaking side than a regular center. I think he'd be interested in watching Summer League. I think he definitely makes a case to, earn a spot with a 2-way contract or maybe even a spot on the Memphis Hustle. Who knows? But I've looked at some of his highlights. I like his game. It's not a game-changing move for the Grizzlies right now. At least, who knows when he actually touches the court that we are talking about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, look, any kind of talent that the Grizzlies can find, I am all for it. Mostly because the Grizzlies are great at finding talent. We found so many hidden gems. Scottie Pippen, for example, Jay Huff, Gigi. Like, the Grizzlies are great at finding hidden talent. It's just a matter of can they get that hidden talent and keep them up to use. That's really my main thing. So, with Summer League starting in basically 2 days, I'm all for it. I'm definitely gonna be glued to the TV, paying attention to who's doing what and who would be good for the team in the long run. So definitely something that we're going to be paying attention to. Obviously, paying attention to the other guys because there is a possibility, from what I've heard, that Cedric Coward may not play in the Utah part of the Summer League because of his shoulder injury. Even though reports have said that he is healthy, I think the Grizzlies just want to be cautious about it, and I don't blame them. I mean, the Grizzlies are kind of known for having all-season injuries right now, so I don't blame them for any extra precautions. I really don't. But in other news regarding a current Grizzly, technically, it's been reported that the Grizzlies have essentially bought out the contract. They've essentially bought out the overseas contract of Tarek Biberovic. No real confirmation on it, but it came from a source out where he plays, and basically it said that, hey, essentially his contract has been bought out by the Grizzlies. So don't know truly the validity of this source, but I think it's worth reporting, mostly because we reported over time that the Grizzlies were looking into they've looked into signing him on a full-time deal. So a Turkish outlet saying that he's planning to sign with the Grizzlies for the summer. So 2 things. That means that the Grizzlies get something done that they've been trying to do in the off season from reports, and not to mention It kind of gives good news to the injury that he had earlier because that was a big concern. Possibly, he tore something in his lower leg, but it proved to not be that, so that's a good sign. Um, I'm not mad at the move because of the simple fact that the Grizzlies need 3-point shooting. So I think if you get that out of a guy who's developed overseas, and I mean developed very well to where he's a top player on his Turkish team, I think he'd be good for the. I think he'd be good to experiment with, test out, see what he can bring to the table as the Grizzlies possibly reshape this roster. There's no telling who's not up for grabs or who is up, or who is for grabs because of the recent events. There's no telling who the Grizzlies are putting on the market for real. So that's a possibility that we're looking at Tarek, and maybe after the All Star break, he might have a spot in the roster or the lineup. You never know. It's just something that, as fans, we're gonna have to follow and just hope for the best. But that's just some news that I thought I'd bring to y'all because I saw it and I figured it'd be worth talking about. I know we haven't really spoken on Tarek Biberovic much, but just any new development, um, yeah, but just something I thought I'd bring to y'all. In other news, before I end this off, still haven't heard any new developments when it comes to deal between the Blazers and the Grizzlies for Danny Avdija. No news denying saying that any of the talks have been shut down. So it's still a developing talk. No telling on when anything will happen, or if we find out anything, it's just a matter of days to see if a deal is done or if talks get shut down. Um, we got confirmation from the team that Jaren Jackson Jr. will be out at least 12 weeks, which is 3 months, like we reported. He'll be reevaluated in after 3 months, and then we'll finally know when he can be returned. He can return, or he'll be on the verge of returning. But that's all I really got for right now. Like I said, free agency has kind of quieted down since then. Don't know when it'll pick back up, but I do know the Grizzlies, from what I know, they are still in the process of trying to make moves. It's just a matter of when we find out. That's about it. That's all I can really tell y'all. But that's a wrap on this edition of Grizzlies Daily. If you like the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to find out when we post. So that way you can be one of the first to know about the latest Grizzlies news right here at Grizzlies Daily. And as for that, I'm your host Malik, and I'm signing off until the next episode.